Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Also, if you could please pause the video right now and hit subscribe. That would mean so much to me. I appreciate you watching these videos. I wish I had videos like this when I was pregnant to watch. So I'm trying to bring you guys valuable information, especially for moms. I know it is the most overwhelming process to go through, and I would appreciate your subscribe so much. So from the title of the video, you can obviously see it's about baby monitors. And there are so many baby monitors out there now, which is actually crazy and makes us and our jobs as moms or dads or caregivers so much harder when there are so many options to choose from. I first want to talk about the difference between a Wi-Fi monitor and a non-Wi-Fi monitor. So a lot of the ones you're seeing out there today are going to be Wi-Fi monitors. So ones I'm sure you've seen are like the Nanit, the Miku. Those are very popular ones. And then just walking around the aisles at Target, you will see more the non-Wi-Fi ones. So that's gonna be like the Vava monitors, the Motorola, all the ones you're gonna see just in the aisles at Target. And not to say Target does not have Wi-Fi, they do as well, but your more basic monitors are gonna be non-Wi-Fi based. So when I got pregnant and I was trying to figure out the best route to take, I thought that the Wi-Fi monitors was like what you had to have. It was the thing everyone was talking about. Those are gonna be your more fancy monitors. So I registered and was graciously gifted a baby monitor. Now, I think that the Wi-Fi based and the more fancy, expensive monitors definitely have their pros. And we'll get into that. But I also think that there are pros to the non-Wi-Fi as well. So the features of most of the Wi-Fi fancy ones are gonna be, a lot of them have a breathing tracker on them. So this, as a first-time mom, was very important to me, and I know it is to a lot of first-time moms. You want to know that your baby is breathing, right? So a lot of these monitors will have either a wearable that the baby will wear, like around their foot, such as the Owlet, or a like sleep sack type of thing, or nothing at all, like the one that I got. So basically it tells you exactly your baby's breathing. Now, how accurate those are, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a sleep consultant, so I don't know. But I will tell you, if you are somebody that feels like you're going to have anxiety about knowing if your baby's breathing, a breathing tracker on your monitor will probably come in handy for you. Now, I was not the type of mom which I thought I was going to be, because you see all those videos talking about, you know, checking to make sure your baby's breathing. I thought I would be like that, and I actually wasn't. I think just because my son was in the bassinet right next to me, and I felt like I had a pretty good grasp on, you know, what he was doing, because we were awake like every couple hours feeding. So I was not so interested, I guess you could say, in the breathing. I loved having it just as like a security blanket when he was young. So if you do think you will struggle with that, I highly recommend getting a monitor with that feature. Another feature of most Wi-Fi monitors are going to be analytics. So this is going to show you that your baby went down 5 minutes ago, your baby's been asleep for 5 minutes, your baby slept for 10 hours and 15 minutes last night, and then it'll kind of keep that as a record. So it is great knowing kind of your sleep habits of your child, or if you're like, oh geez, what time did he actually go to bed? If you are on a strict schedule for naps and that kind of thing, the analytics are huge. With the monitor that I had, they were not always accurate. Like it would say he had been down for X amount of time and he had not. So again, how accurate are these? I don't know how they know the baby's like fully asleep, but analytics, just overall knowing, you know, they'll give you like a sleep score every night. I think it kind of varies depending on the baby monitor, but that's what mine did. Another thing with the Wi-Fi based, more expensive monitors is they will keep a log of videos. So in particular, my monitor, it will say baby stirred at 6:23, and then it will either have just the sound or it'll have a video of what happened. So I really liked knowing that if something happened, even just like a break-in in our house, God forbid, that I would have the monitor, the video footage of that. So that's something that I actually really like about these more expensive monitors, is that you can look back and see what happened at that time. So that for me was a bigger thing than like the breathing tracker, but I really, really liked that. Another feature of my monitor is that you can play like white noise sounds, ocean sounds through the speaker of it, which I thought was great. So if you don't want to buy a separate white noise machine, or if you're traveling, etc., you have a built-in like noise machine for the baby. And we actually didn't use this until like a little bit into like a couple months in, and then we would turn it on, and it actually was an amazing speaker and super, super good. Okay, so the monitor that we chose, and I was between the Nanit and the Mousse, we ended up going with the Mousse. And they essentially call this the Rolls Royce of baby monitors, just from Google, from what I've read about it. And I had heard good things online. It had really great reviews. So all of these monitors that I talk about, I will link down below for you as well. I did not notice that there was a drastic difference between the Nanit and the Mousse. And I've really been trying to rack my brain of like, what made me choose the Mousse over the Nanit, and for the life of me I can't figure it out, because they're very, very similar. I liked a feature of the Nanit where it would say like Beckham was helped to sleep 6 minutes ago. It was a little more personalized, I felt, which I know sounds so goofy and like ridiculous, but I think when you're kind of in it and you're a first-time mom, even when you're a multiple mom, just being sleep deprived, and I don't know, it's like the little things. So it would just say like, good morning, mom, things like that, which I thought was super cute. So not enough to like make you change your mind between different ones, but I just really liked that about the Nanit. Another thing to note about the more expensive Wi-Fi based monitors that I have heard, read, seen for myself just with the Mousse, is that the sound quality and the camera quality are top notch. There's no arguing that. You have an amazing quality video. I mean, you could see everything, as well as the sound was impeccable. It just has great speakers. And so those are a lot of the things that I like about the Wi-Fi based monitors, and there are definitely cons as well. So that's kind of why I wanted to make this video, was to just show you guys the pros and cons of both types. And the cons for me for the Wi-Fi based monitor was that you have to use your phone or your iPad to have that as your monitor. Now, it sounds great in theory. You think, I'm always on my phone, I'll just have it right here. The problem is that when you go to switch back and forth between YouTube and the Mousse monitor or the Nanit or whichever you're using, it a lot of the times would either just cancel out the sound of the monitor, or it would just completely go out of the app. So especially if you're watching videos, if you're watching a YouTube video, it's going to shut off the monitor part. So that was a big problem for my husband and I, because he likes to watch a lot of YouTube videos on his phone at night. I'm always on my phone, and a lot of now what we're using, like TikTok, YouTube, those kind of things, are video based. So it would a lot of times get out of the app or turn the sound off without us even knowing. And I felt like I constantly had to check that the app was still up and still working, like I could hear it on my phone. And that was actually like our main con as to why we switched. Just a lot of the times the app would completely just disappear. You couldn't hear it, but the video would be playing. And that was a big reason why we ended up switching to a non-Wi-Fi based monitor. Now, I will say a lot of people, and they didn't have this option until I think recently, and I could be wrong, they might not even have this option yet, but Maiku was working on allowing you to use an iPad as your monitor screen. And when my son was little, you only could use your iPhone. So that was a huge catch for us. Again, it might not be a problem if you do have an iPad and you can just use that if it works. Just a lot of the times it would exit out of the app. I did read other reviews saying that as well when I was trying to like troubleshoot it with their support team. Another thing that I noted about the Maiku is that it would record video at night, like I was telling you guys. And if he like moved and was crying, it would record the video. But then other times my husband and I would say, oh, remember last night when he was screaming, crying at like 2:30, and we would go back to watch that video and it didn't record that, but it would record him like rolling over and moaning. So I felt like it was very inconsistent with what it was actually recording. And I told you guys that I liked that feature just if anything ever were to happen or if we had a break-in or anything like that. I felt like it was recording stuff that I didn't need it to record and vice versa. So yes, it does record stuff, but does it record the stuff that you actually want it to? That was what I was kind of questioning. Going along with that too, I felt like the times of him like going to sleep and his quality of sleep, which I told you it like tracks that and shows you a graph and everything, I felt like a lot of times that was wrong as well, just because I knew in my head like he was up at this time, yet the monitor would tell me that he was asleep. So I think that the idea is great. I think that the theory is there, and maybe they will master it someday to get all these analytics correct, which I think is very hard because we're like human beings, and just because we look asleep or our breathing's a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that we are, if that makes sense. So I think that the high tech is great. And if you are somebody that like already has an iPad and isn't worried about the app kind of like glitching and going in and out, I would say get the Wi-Fi based, as well as if you're concerned about breathing and that kind of thing. But what I'm going to tell you guys about is the monitor that we switched to that I'm like obsessed with. So I want to tell you guys about the monitor that we ended up switching to. And I recommend this to like all my friends that are pregnant, and it's so funny because you think you need the most expensive thing and it's going to be the best, and that is so not true. So this is the Eufy monitor, and I really just found this on a whim. I was kind of desperate because I was so over like not knowing if the monitor was on. I just needed something that stood alone, that I knew was going to work and was not going to switch out of the app if I accidentally watched a video on Facebook or whatever. So I stumbled across this on Amazon. I was going through a lot of them. I will say the other one that was like pretty close up there was the Vava monitor as well. They look very similar, kind of do the same things, but I ended up just getting this on a whim. And when I tell you, my husband and I were like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. It's like changed my life. I know that's so dramatic, but we love this so much. It is just like a, I don't even know, 5-inch screen maybe. And it has like a little, can you see that? What do you call this? Like you can set it up on, this is what I do. I just set it up when he goes to bed. You can put the antenna up. I think if you have like a pretty big house, you would need that. I don't necessarily need it at my house, but I just put it up anyways. But it is great. So it is a non-Wi-Fi based monitor, and it has great picture, great sound, really all you need. What you can do, and what I love about this monitor too, is we put it up on my son's wall, and it gives you like a little, it comes with like a little shelf that you just screw into the wall, and you set it on top of there, but you can also take it down for traveling, which is great. What I love about this monitor is that it shows his crib, but on this monitor you can like scroll over and up, and basically you can see his whole room, which I absolutely love. The Maiku, you could only see the crib, you could not move it. It was a fixed camera. This one, you can move around his room and see, which I love. I don't know why, I just love being able to do that. If you also did mount it in like the corner of the room, you would just have a full shot of his room with like the baby in the corner, which is great. If you want to see their whole room. So this doesn't do any of the fancy stuff that I talked about with the other ones. Like, it does not have analytics, it doesn't record video, it doesn't have a sound machine, it doesn't do any of that. It's just a very stripped down basic version. What I think is cool is that you can turn it into like a split screen. So if you have another baby, all you do is get another separate monitor and put that in their room, and then you have 2 babies on the screen, which is amazing. Another feature of this that I love, and we actually have used as my son's gotten older, is there is like a little microphone button right here. So if he is like trying to put himself down, having trouble, or if you just want to talk to him, you just hit this button, say whatever you want to say. And actually lately I've been hitting it if he's like having trouble going to bed, and I'm like, lay down, go to bed, everything's okay, and he like lays down and goes to bed. So I love that you can talk to them, like 2-way audio. I really have no cons about this camera, like at all, 0. I have told my mom to get it for her house. A bunch of my friends have gotten it. I am so in love with it. The only complaint I have, which is like not even a complaint, is I wish it had a night mode. So like on our iPhones where our screen goes kind of orange and whatnot, I wish this had it. But that's not a big deal, because what you do is you basically just quickly tap the on and off button to turn the screen black, but it's still on, so you don't have to sleep with like the picture up, which is great. It does come with a pretty short charging cord, but I think this is called a USB-C. I'm not positive, but it's like a little charger. And what I did was I just ordered a 5-pack of super long charging cords off Amazon. I'll link those down below for you guys. So it's like the perfect length. I just put it on my nightstand, and this thing is like one of my favorite baby purchases, and I'm so glad that I found this because it is so good, so affordable, and just a really, really great quality. Another thing to note is a lot of people don't like Wi-Fi based cameras because of hackers, which is actually like a huge thing, which makes no sense to me because people are weird. Like, I can't even believe that's a thing. But with this type of monitor, it's not on your Wi-Fi, so no one can hack into it and like talk to your children through the things, which like makes me so mad. I can't believe that's a thing. So if you are concerned about security, read about this. I'll link it down below, but this supposedly has very good security and cannot be hacked. So that's another huge plus with this. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it made sense. I kind of feel like it was all over the place, but I just have like a lot of things about each of them that I wanted to say. I will link everything I talked about down below, as well as some alternatives. I'm not saying this is like the only non-Wi-Fi based monitor that's great, as well as I'm not saying that those other Wi-Fi ones, there aren't others that are great. So this is just what has worked for us, and I have heard of a lot of people that have converted from the Wi-Fi cameras to this. Again, you have to try and see what works best for you. If you are somebody that stresses about your child's breathing, absolutely get the monitor that shows you that so you can sleep better at night. There are so many things we can do as parents to make our lives easier, and you truly just have to go with what works for you and your family. So that is it. I just wanted to tell you guys about these monitors, and I don't know why I haven't done it sooner, because I wish I would have watched a video like this to save me from getting one that I could have just gotten this. Also, if you have not followed me on Instagram, please do that. That is where I post more of like my everyday stuff. I would love to have you guys. So my @ is just @Christine H. Cartwright. I'll put it up here. And then also, if you're on TikTok, follow me on there. It is the same @. And I would love to have you just in all of these places so you can kind of see more about me rather than my like sit down, more serious videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.